Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Tez back at you with another Digimon episode review and breakdown and discussion. Digimon episode 36 entitled Operation Satellite Sniper. But before we get into the episode, like always, thank you guys so much for enjoying my content and liking and discussing with your boy, even on such a minimal scale as we grow. But if you haven't already, like the video. It helps me grow up in the algorithm to get more viewers into this channel because, we have the goal of hitting 500 by the year. And I think it's possible. I think it's possible. Very possible. And if you haven't already, if you're a new listener, subscribe if you're enjoying the video. I hope you enjoy the video because I enjoy bringing this content to you. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. So back in the human world, it's a race for time as the satellite gets closer to crashing into the city. Pretty much we already knew this. And then Izzy and Tentomon are now reunited with the rest of the crew in what appears to be a area that looks sort of ruined. It's like another dank part of the digital world with these massive fossils, which Patamon claimed could possibly be ancient Digimon. And then Telmon tells us that these Digimon, though they're ancient and dead, that the battle that ensued is in correlation or not in correlation to light and darkness. Just like many battles that get fought in the digital world, they're not always in regards to good versus evil. Some of them come down to simple matters such as pride or some type of gain, survival of the fittest mentality. But the most important is that this giant pillar that lies ahead is basically... It was basically the outcome of what happened between these two ancient Digimon. Now, who knows what else we may find out later down the line. I love getting the relation that Digimon, other than the ones that are more sentient, they're really animalistic. They're just cutting it, making it point blank. Like, Mons fight for all types of things. Who knows what? Who knows why? Even some of the more ancient big Digimon, the most primal of Mons, when these servers were still budding and brand new. But, that's neither here nor there. But we do find out that this pillar, its connection spans as far as the network layer of the digital world, if I read that correctly in the episode, which does allow them to interact from their current location with the actual real world. So Izzy's plan is to do exactly what the evil Digimon have been doing for most of these 36 odd episodes. So as if they can make things go haywire with their digital powers, then how's it that the good Mons can't, basically do the exact same thing? So what they plan to do is fixing the trajectory of the ISS and making the issue stop. And it's kind of similar to what happened when Omegamon stopped the missiles previously. I can't think of what exact episode that was, but you kind of get where 2 and 2 go, because they actually did also reference Omegamon, or more so when Matt and Ty, because no one knows Omegamon yet, but we will. It's coming. It's coming. So, as they begin to mount and scale the pillar, we get this whole time limit of how much time we have until everything hits the needle on the head. We have 15 minutes. 15 minutes is exactly how much time everything has until nothing is going to be existent or complete chaos ensues, which we know won't be the case. I mean, I would love to see one episode where they actually do fail. It'd be interesting to see how that will play out. Like, it'd be really bad, but, they can't always win. You just gotta wonder what if types of scenarios. But back in the human world, this is when they begin their evacuation measures to ensure all civilian safety. But from out of nowhere, as they're scaling up the pillar, we get these random bits of lightning, and they're not sure where they're coming from, or asking if they're coming from the pillar themselves. And then that's when Pegasmon basically combats this with his attack shooting star. But then Ty notices these little Digimon flying about, which Izzy identifies as Blade Kawagumon. Which then, it kind of confuses Kabuterimon also, because he says Blade Kawagumon. Like, what would be the best way to put it? He wasn't even sure about them himself. Like, I think Digimon know only as much as they know in regards to, like, their natural predatorial enemies. Kind of like Kawagumon and Kabuterimon are constantly battling. Always at wits ends. The whole thing between their different lines, even up until the point of their digivolutions to their megas, their polar megas, and then even the evolutions that expand past that. So I was just like, oh, so there's some mons that they don't even know about. But then it could just be because they've never been to this server, so they wouldn't know of a particular type of mon that exists here that they never actually encountered. But I just thought it was more along the lines of, what? Like, come on, dog, a Blade Kawagumon? You already got Okawamon, Grand Kawagumon, like, come on. So, Tai explains that, they must have basically, no, sorry, not Tai. Tailmon explains that they must have digivolved to fit this environment, which Kabuterimon says you kind of have to be crazy to want to live here. And then the little guys basically begin their attack, having to have Atlas Kabuterimon and Garudamon take the stage and then blow these little dudes away. But these little guys seem to be more like mosquitoes in my own personal opinion, because they generally just stab you. They just fly straight into your body like with this stab, and they do have the small little insectoid-like bodies, which I don't understand what makes them Kawagamon. They don't even look like Kawagamon by any means, but they are. And they must be champion forms too, but like they probably have to be the smallest champion I've seen next to what? You guys may correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say Piximon and Nanemon. I want to say, oh sorry, one of the Mamemons. One of the Mamemons they're like just little dudes. But again, that's neither here nor there. So with that, we still have 8 minutes to spare as this is all taking place, and then they hurry to Tailmon, which Tailmon hurries and lets us know that there's a new danger approaching, basically as an unknown attack comes down, and we get our our resident big baddie of the episode, Metal Life Kawagamon. Now, as many times as I've said it in my head and I got it right this first time, I kept thinking, Metal Life Kawagamon. What in the Frank was this? What in the devil is this? I haven't begun to look up either of these two different variants of Kawagamon. I will later, just for my own sake. But, as things progress, as Metal Kawagamon basically takes the stage, more Blade Kawagamon come along and Tailmon springs into action, and Pegasusmon is surrounded by the remaining, Blade Kawagamon, or what appeared to be a massive amount of, I won't say the remaining because it does happen actually twice. He gets surrounded by a massive amount. So, we got Tailmon, TK, Pegasusmon, they're all surrounded. So as the others make their way, and time is of the essence, but Metal Life Kawagamon is hell-bent on stopping that. And then Garudamon is basically on the next Blade Bug meal. She gets trapped, and then Izzy and Tai have to keep pushing forward. They gotta keep going, but they're getting blasted from behind from Metal Life Kawagamon. But as we find out, back in the human world, the ISS is 16,000 feet and approaching, and all we can see is Metal Life Kawagamon. She basically, I don't want to say it's a she, but it looks very feminine-like, but it has Metal Greymon and Atlas Kabuterimon kind of stuck in these beams, just hovering the pillar, until basically both of them hit the pillar, and then that's when Tai's Digivice begins to glow and give up this odd staticky buzz similar to the pillar, and then that's when Metal Greymon pushes through and seems to absorb some of the energy, and then that's when we get Blitzgreymon. Now, guys, I wasn't expecting Blitzgreymon to appear at all. I thought it was just, an allude to something in the previous episode. Who knows? But he actually did show up. But what this does give us is more proof that Victory Greymon and some of these others, like, we can't speak on the variants for anybody but Matt and Tai. I think, and because their two lines, or their two Digimon's subspecies and family categories have so many different variants, even because they all derive from one base mon. Now, all the others don't have that many. I think the only other person who might have some, like, an additional form, but it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It's like Tentomon. Tentomon has one, and of course Patamon and Tailmon, but Salamon and stuff. But I think that just them keeping it to Matt and Tai, it's different. But I would hope someone else gets a different variant. It'd be really cool to see that. But it does leave room for us to just realize we may be getting some more Mons in these next 30 episodes. Who knows who, what, when, and where. Maybe at the end, maybe they do all achieve Mega, and then come to find out these Mega forms aren't it, because the new Millennium Mon is just, my man's is hitting too hard, so they gotta step it up. They gotta Jogress. They gotta do anything else but be the current versions of themselves that they know how to be, whether it be an X antibody evolution, some new armor variant, hell, even, I don't want to see Merciful Mode Omegamon. I just don't. I've seen him in the movies. I'm good. I don't need to see him again. I need to see new stuff. You're giving me new? Keep it at that. That's what I want to see. That's what I would like to see. But let me not keep getting sidetracked. Like, I'm just really hype about this. This was really dope. I mean, really dope. So, as that whole thing took place, Izzy's kind of sitting there like, whoa, this is kind of cool. Like, Blitzgreymon, how do you explain this? But he basically digivolved to fit the environment. That's what this mega evolution fits this environment. Basically, on some evolution type stuff, he adapted to the environment and digivolved, and then bang. Nonetheless, he begins to make light work of Metal Life Kabuterimon, which Todd tells Izzy it's up to him now, as he spurs him on, like he has to be the one to push this through. He has to be the one to finish this off. Like there's no going back from here. And then that's when Izzy goes, and then he begins to have this inner monologue where he tells us how so many times in the past he's always been the observant one and felt alone, and that's not the case anymore. He has Atlas Kabuterimon, he has all his friends, and for them that is why he has to do it. Like he must do it, he will do it. And then that's when Atlas Kabuterimon charges up this horn buster. But this was what got me. As he's charging up this horn buster, just for a brief second, just for a little bit, we get this silhouette of my man Hercules Kabuterimon, and I'm like, y'all know I'm a big Izzy fan. I'm a big lover of the Tentomon, to Hercules Kabuterimon, to even the evil Kabuterimon that you guys don't know exists. That's like the king of the forest. Hey, if we saw that, I think I'd literally have to spaz and y'all a whole video about the whole rundown on this dude. But even still, it was kind of just like, it was surreal to see that like Izzy coming into his own, but it was like, it's too soon for us to get Hercules Kabuterimon. I understand that. I'm not mad at it, just knowing that my man's is coming. It's like, all right, a true mon will eventually be able to show. But then that's when he fires off the horn buster, which he charged up, and the trajectory of the ISS was changed, and the crisis in the human world was basically diverted, and the ISS pretty much just crashed into the ocean safely. And that's the end of the episode, guys. But there was so much to be pondered about in this. The way in which digivolutions can go based on certain things, because how I've been approaching it when I explain things or when I look into them, I've been looking at them just from the base stat that they've given in information as far as what they are in the lore. Because Blitzgreymon ain't a Digimon you would imagine that would be with a chosen child, based off the information that you get from the type of family tree it comes from. Because we've seen most of the Digidestined, no one's pretty much ended up with a virus type, not a true virus type. And the kids who had Impmon don't count. So but things are different. But who knows what else could be led? Who knows what other different forms and mons we could see? Who knows what other different variants we will get? But I do think, just for sanity's sake, I think they're just gonna keep it at Ty and Matt for right now. Of course, Patamon's a different story. I really don't want to see Nefertimon. Like, I just can't stand that thing. It's just buns. I don't really like Pegasmon, but that's a whole other thing too. But Pegasmon is proving his worth. I miss my man I miss Angemon. I need that hand of fate back. But we'll get there when we get there. But if you made it this far, I thank you again kindly. Like the video, subscribe, share it, comment down below, because I'm gonna talk back. I always talk back. I love discussing this stuff with people, and I love getting new information from you guys that I don't actually know, or when you guys correct me. I love the criticisms. I love getting the correct information brought to my attention. That way I can make note of something next time the right way. So you guys be safe as always, be clean, wash your hands, wash your ass, and I'll holla at y'all for episode 37. Peace.